Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back with another video from Seth the Programmer, and it seems like him and Swag have made up. Well, that drama is over. That's nice to see because it looks like Swag's featuring in this video, and this is an interesting discussion. Minato versus Orochimaru. Now, Minato is one of my faves, and I instantly want to go, you know what? He got this. But Orochimaru did show off some pretty impressive stuff in his fight against Hiruzen. And Orochimaru and Hiruzen weren't really going 100%, and he did quite a lot of impressive stuff. Hiruzen was pretty beastly. I don't really know where to go on this, so let's just get straight into this, shall we? Minato versus Orochimaru. Subscribe if you're a Naruto fan.
Hello everyone, it's your host, Seth the Programmer, and with me today I have my good old pal, Swag Kage!
Yay!
And we're going to be talking about Orochimaru versus Minato. Now,
Sweet.
I thought this would be a good idea simply because I feel like Kishimoto himself wanted this to be a thing. It just never became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Minato is, dead.
Yeah. I mean, he dies, but then,
Yeah.
you can tell that Kishimoto kind of goes out of his way, yeah, these guys were rival, political enemies or something.
Oh yeah, because he
They
wanted to be
both
Hokage
wanted
at
to
one
be
point, didn't he?
Kage, and it was, heated who was gonna be. Kishimoto really wants to go that far.
Well, yeah, Orochimaru throws, a little baby fit. It's a really, awkward amount of time that he spends just, lashing out at Minato. He's just yeah, you kind of, dropped the ball and died in a week, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sucks. And he's just yeah, man, maybe they should have picked me.
Minato just doesn't even care. He's just
Very blasé about it.
They
Yeah,
chose
whatever.
me, dude. I didn't even do anything. The Uchiha are always complaining about it. They're no, Lord Orochimaru should have been chosen. Why
Yeah.
was it Minato? And, why is Kid Kakashi getting all this clout? And then, Anko's if only Minato was here, we could have stopped the Orochimaru. And then Hiruzen, debates about it a little bit.
There's a lot of, name association between the two.
So I just thought, hey, cool fight. So for the video, we're just going to be going over 4 different scenarios. First one, Orochimaru in Minato's Hokage days, so they're going to be fighting when they're both in the village. Orochimaru after the 13-year time skip versus Hiruzen fighting Minato, and then Orochimaru in the 4th Great Ninja War, and then maybe we'll talk about Edo Minato, which isn't necessary. KCM 2, but we'll talk about it, whatever. So how about you start off with what you think would happen in their Hokage days when they were political enemies?
I know this is going to be a meme to say that Minato's kind of underrated, but not in general. There are a lot of people who recognize how strong he is. But there are also a lot of people who think that Minato is just, baby tier.
Really?
Sucks.
Really?
Weakest Hokage. There are people who think Minato couldn't even beat Kakuzu. They think, he's just... or Tsunade, he's, the actual weakest Hokage.
That's ridiculous.
Tsunade
Absolutely
and
ridiculous.
Look, Minato's actually, a god, right?
He is so up there.
Minato is, easily top 3 Hokage, right beneath Hashirama, Naruto. Orochimaru's not that strong at this point. he's not, he's not keeping up with, prime Hiruzen or whatever.
Yeah.
If you look at Minato's fight with, Obito, you can make a good case for this Obito beating a lot of Orochimarus, especially this one, and Minato just destroys Obito.
Yeah.
It's not even a fight. It's 2 seconds in, Minato's okay, I know
straight on him with the Rasengan,
he, hits
BAM!
him with the Flying Raijin level 2, cuts off his control of the Nine Tails, it's over, and Orochimaru couldn't do that, with no Edo Tensei or any of that, he sort of had to run away when Hiruzen was threatening to arrest him. Right?
Yeah, bye. I'm not dealing with this.
Orochimaru's own student thought that Minato back in the day was stronger than what she remembers.
Yeah.
And then Hiruzen cuts in and says he's dead, and that was 13 years ago. And the whole point of that is Hiruzen is not disagreeing, but he's disagreeing in the sense that he knows that Orochimaru is talented and that he would be training for
those 13 years, yeah.
Right? So he's just saying that, yes, Minato probably would have smacked the shit out of that Orochimaru,
but
13 years of time plus training
plus,
a talent is quite a big deal. I think it's interesting as well, though, that at this time, Minato is noted as an unparalleled talent. So that means not Itachi, not Kakashi, not even Orochimaru, who Hiruzen's all my knowledge has no match for his talent. Not even that.
Yeah.
Minato has more talent than all of that.
Yeah, these people are talked about as, like, geniuses or whatever, like, prodigies and stuff, but Minato is an unparalleled talent. And I know that, like, it's an anime and hyperbolic statements like that are thrown around a lot, but that's a big deal. You can't just look at unparalleled talent and be like, oh, this guy's kind of strong. Like, he's obviously, like, pretty heavyweight class ninja there.
Exactly.
If people are talking about him like that.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note, too, is that the third Hokage, 13 years younger, he's like has the task of brawling with the Nine Tails, but everyone in the village is like, hold him off until Minato comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That whole fight, they're like, where is Minato?
Yeah, like, we need him now.
They're like, we can survive, but we can't beat this guy without Minato.
Yeah, so
where is he?
Minato could, like, seal it away, at least, or do some crazy stuff to it, which is definitely true. But we also see Minato then dodge attacks from the Nine Tails, and it's just very consistent, especially with the statement he gave Obito, because he's like, you need to master the Nine Tails chakra to beat Obito. So it's like, you have this character who's, like, able to dodge the full Nine Tails, and now I know there's a lot of arguments, like, Bijou aren't as strong in their base forms if they are with Jinchuriki. But that's because Bijou are dumb most of the time, but we know for a fact Kurama is, like, as smart as Kakashi and other shinobi. Like, he's, like, commanding them around to deal with Obito.
Well,
so
another thing about this, like, Kurama thing, where, like, you know, Minato didn't really see him as a threat. You know, he was just running circles around him. Orochimaru was clearly afraid of Kurama because, like, Kid Naruto showed, like, a little.
Yeah, like Orochimaru sealed it away so it wouldn't be a deal for him.
Fighting Sasuke and went out of his way to further solidify the Nine-Tail Seal, like, just to make sure no more chakra leaked out.
Leaked out because so it didn't want it to cause him a problem.
He didn't have to do that.
No.
But he was just like,
exactly.
It's gonna be a problem.
Thing might become a problem.
Yeah.
And this is little baby Naruto, right? 2 arcs into the series, and Orochimaru was like, I can't let this become a problem for me.
Yeah.
Ever. So, you know, like that, the fact that, like, Minato didn't show that level of concern for the Nine Tails, like, he looked at him, Nine Tails was charging up a full Bijou bomb. Minato just held up a kunai and, like, teleported it away. You know,
it's incredible,
he was more concerned with Obito than he was with the Nine Tails, right? Like, he actually, like, he thought that the villagers would have no problem fighting it. He's like, I gotta fight this Madara guy, you know?
We then learn that a younger Itachi, well, around the same age as the one that bodied Orochimaru, is a rival to Obito, at least in the novels. And it's just insane to think that Obito, the same dude who just casually genjutsu'd the whole Nine Tails without even Mangekyo. I've heard debates about this, but obviously if Kishimoto wanted to hide the Mangekyo, he would have just not showed Obito's eyes when he controlled the Nine Tails.
Yeah, definitely didn't need to, did he?
He went out of his way to show his eyes and everything, so he controlled it with base Sharingan here, and he couldn't just look at Minato and genjutsu him. Minato was too fast, he was too on point, and it just wasn't
out of the way.
Well,
You didn't get me.
He might have, like, some level of crazy genjutsu resistance, because he was, like, looking Minato in the face, trying to suck him up with Kamui, didn't even bother trying to genjutsu him. Minato just teleported away, right? Like, they were making direct eye contact, and no
which is a big deal when it comes to
shenanigans came up.
I guess you could say, oh, well, Obito was controlling the Nine Tails, so he couldn't, but then it's like, I guess after the contract seal, maybe you could argue, okay, Obito was controlling the Nine Tails at the time, and then, you know, Minato didn't put the contract seal until after, like, the Rasengan bodied him or whatever.
I mean, Obito didn't even try to genjutsu Minato.
He didn't even try, though.
He just retreated and let the Nine Tails slip out of his control. The strongest Bijou, his most powerful asset,
he's like,
just let it go. He's like,
forget this.
Whoa, I didn't know you were this strong.
Yeah, like, forget this, you can have that. Out of here.
And it's crazy to think that Itachi rivals this, just...
Yeah, and Itachi just, like Orochimaru left the whole Akatsuki
because Itachi didn't get jutsu on him.
Now, this might spoil the next category, but I guess we'll just flow into there naturally. It should be noted that in the Naruto fan books, and it's kind of implied in the battle, that both Hiruzen and Orochimaru they kind of had like an equal battle with each other, and they were both holding
back. Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to think that it took Orochimaru 13 years of training and ninjutsu prep to take on older Hiruzen who was getting weaker. And yet, here's Minato, and he's stated as the fastest shinobi, even compared to a younger, much stronger, and faster Hiruzen. Minato should still be able to even blitz Orochimaru, even during the Hiruzen battle.
There's also a statement, and we're not sure if this is translated properly, but it's in one of the data books that he's the fastest ninja ever, right?
He's
godlike, right?
Yeah,
unparalleled
godlike speed, and that means even like Sage Hashirama too. So like
potentially,
yeah.
And
so like
it's just
yikes for Orochimaru.
And
he's not that fast.
I'm not here to debate people on, could Minato really blitz Hashirama?
Yeah. It's the fact that it's even possible,
the fact that it's implied, and it's
still a big
feat,
a big deal.
Alive, it still means he's massively faster than Hiruzen, who should be stronger than Orochimaru. And we gotta go into Orochimaru with his summonings. So, these summonings, they're like going all out at the time, because they can't really hold back. They just go all out for Orochimaru. And suppressed Hiruzen is kind of fighting them off. Like, I don't know what your opinion is on it, but
they're definitely, like, not as strong, right? Because even Kabuto's, like, amped, better, more refined Edo Tensei are still nerfed, right? So, like, Hashirama doesn't summon the Wood Golem. He doesn't summon
all those
the Thousand-Armed Buddha statue. Tobirama doesn't do flying Raijin or any of his other crazy stuff. He just uses, like, water, and Hashirama makes a couple trees. Like,
by the way, the statement that, wow, he used water without water being nearby, what a Kage-level battle. Anyway.
Well, and I mean, even if that's not the case, you can argue retcons as far as strength is concerned because of statements like that. Like, wow, man, he made a little water wall with no water on the roof. It's crazy.
Lore-wise, though.
Yeah. But like, like Hashirama didn't even use one of his, like, baseline wood jutsu, which is like the gates, or like a small wood golem, none of the big
he didn't use any of that stuff.
It would be one thing if he didn't just use the Buddha, but he didn't use any of the stuff we saw him using in the fight against Madara. And another thing that sort of like supports this idea that these guys were severely nerfed, like maybe they didn't have that much access to chakra or whatever, is that Hiruzen was actually, like, scared when the third one
was like, he was like, no matter what.
In it, and he didn't think he could fight Minato.
Which further confirms he should be much faster than
Hiruzen.
Yeah, well, first of all, this confirms he should be but second of all, it implies either that Kishimoto thought Minato was the strongest of the four of them at the time, or that because of, like, the fact that they didn't have as much chakra or whatever and couldn't use their strongest attacks, Minato, even when nerfed, would be, like, the strongest out of them because of, like, he'd still be able to use Flying Raijin or whatever, I imagine. Well, I don't know if he could, actually. That might not be what that means because Tobirama didn't use it either.
Yeah, he didn't
it's weird. But
well, Tobirama had less mastery over it, so it wasn't as easy for him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like, because with Minato, it's, like, effortless. So, in any case, the fact that Hiruzen was scared of Minato, but was pretty confident that he could take on Hashirama and Tobirama is pretty telling.
Yeah. Another weird argument, too, so it's like, you can already establish, like, hey, his speed should be high enough, his power is strong enough to slice through, like, the perfect Jinchuriki 8 Tails and, like, the future would-be Raikage, and it's like, but he has, like, these weird Uzumaki, like, contract and, like, ceiling jutsus, and now, this is very headcanon-y. I'm not saying it's fact.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both sort of like, on this, but it is possible.
Yeah. Minato might be able to blitz the 2 reanimations and then cut off their contract from Orochimaru.
Oh.
So, the reason we think this is because Minato was able to do the same thing to Obito.
When he was controlling the Nine Tails, right, yeah.
Obito's Genjutsu is no joke. It's, like, pretty ironclad because, like, he was able to use his Sharingan to take complete control of Yagura, who's a perfect Jinchuriki, by the way, which was shown to, like, make someone immune. The first time, like, the perfect Jinchuriki Genjutsu immunity thing was shown, it was in response to an Uchiha Mangekyo Sharingan Genjutsu. That was the moment where you were supposed to be like, oh, okay, so it's, like, being a Jinchuriki is serious business.
It's like super
you're immune
helps.
to Genjutsu. Obito didn't care about that. Like, he didn't just paralyze him or slow him down, right? Like, Sasuke was only trying to immobilize B. Obito, like, he turned him into a puppet. He was, like, it was like Kodo Matsukami level. It was crazy, right?
For years.
And Minato just said nope, like pretty much just snapped his fingers and like severed that connection he had with Kurama.
It was gone.
And so it's very possible he'd be able to do something similar with the Edo Tensei, because the control isn't like the same. Obviously, it probably works a little bit differently, but it's similar conceptually. So I think that this is something that should at least be on the table.
You might also be able to imply maybe he can like reprogram them or like recontract them. Like maybe he has like ways to manipulate contracts, because like you might be able to argue like, well, the host doesn't matter. Like even if he was to murder Orochimaru, the summonings would still do their thing or something. But it's just an idea. He doesn't need it. He has Uzumaki tier sealing jutsu that can seal away the Nine Tails even without the Reaper Death Seal, apparently, according to Kushina. Now there's like different ways to argue that, but the fact Kushina thinks his sealing jutsu is like that level, these summonings would be no problem.
Well, yeah, we were talking about
fair enough.
Like, Uzumaki like sealing jutsu and stuff, and we don't really see like a lot of them. But
yeah,
this is also kind of headcanon-y. But it's possible that like an example of one of them is the 9 Phantom Dragons sealing jutsu, or whatever the Akatsuki uses to seal the Biju, because like that's a crazy sealing jutsu, right? It's used to seal tailed beasts inside of the Ghetto Maza.
Yeah.
And it is very possible that Pain created it. You know, Nagato isn't Uzumaki. So, like, if that's the sort of stuff that... And again, this is headcanon-y. It might not be an Uzumaki jutsu. But if that's the sort of stuff, like, that Kushina was talking about, that Minato should be capable of, that's nuts. And even if you don't think he could seal Hashirama or Tobirama, you don't think he could, like, cut off Orochimaru's control of them or whatever, it's also possible that he could just, like, he's so fast that he could just blitz Orochimaru before he could even put the kunai in the back of their head.
Imagine.
That's true. He actually should be able to do that.
Yeah, like Orochimaru, like, because, so, and the other thing is, like, people might be like, well, he might not know what Orochimaru is doing. Minato's not an idiot.
No.
He's very smart. Highest written exam test scores ever, like of all time. Created the Rasengan,
invented that,
mastered the Shadow Clone Jutsu,
and Flying
mastered
Raijin.
Flying Raijin.
Yeah.
No one is even close to as good with Flying Raijin as Minato is. And also, he's the only person ever to figure out how Obito's jutsu worked, how like Kamui worked, without years of like experience being a partner or team.
Yes, like Conan.
I got the perfect analogy for this one. I said this one earlier, but imagine you're playing like a ranked fighting game online.
Yeah.
And what Minato had to do was fight one of the most godly players in the game with the most unmatched mix-up you've ever seen. And Minato had to master and counter it in one online game versus
God damn.
He's never seen it before.
Never seen it.
One of a kind.
He wins. And then he wins. Like, it's that insane.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
To deal with it, and Minato just does it. It's crazy. The only other people who have ever shown the ability to counter Kamui are Conan, who had 600 billion
Jesus, she had such preparation beforehand.
An employee of Obito's. And then Kakashi, who literally had to use Obito's other eye.
Yeah, it's using the same freaking thing.
Like, so, you know, Minato being able to see this thing like twice
and then figure
out what he needs to do to stop it, like, I feel like something like that is a feat that you can look at and go, okay, it's not unreasonable to assume that he would see Orochimaru summon these two guys from the dead,
figure out what's going on,
kunai with tags on the end, watch him walk up to them and start sticking them in the back of their heads, and not go, okay, he's about to do
I don't want that
to
happen to me.
I need to stop it.
Here's the other thing, too. This is about if Minato could beat Orochimaru as well. So, all he has to do is teleport the two summonings away and murder him.
Yeah, that's the thing. He could easily do it, too, right? Like,
yeah, he's fast enough to do it. And the other thing as well, with the whole Reaper Death Seal, the whole reason he did the Reaper Death Seal is because it can split apart chakra into different bodies while sealing. So, like, he seals away half the Nine Tails into himself, because he thought Naruto, like, handling it would be impractical.
I think the most reasonable explanation is, like, one, he couldn't properly seal the Nine Tails into Naruto with any of his regular sealing jutsu. And 2, like, the Reaper Death Seal would, like Seth said, be able to, like, do crazy stuff, like, split the Nine Tails into 2 separate beings, and seal one in Minato and one in Naruto, you know, because that's like 6 pads level stuff right there, right? Like, the only person who's ever split Biju apart before is the Sage of 6 pads, so, like, you know, needing the Reaper to do something like that, it does make sense. Like we've been saying, he's, like, really strong, right? And, like, he sealed the first half of the Nine Tails inside of himself, and he was like, oh, wow, this chakra's really heavy. I can barely handle this. So, you know, like...
It makes sense.
It makes sense that he didn't think Naruto could handle the whole thing. Well, like, especially with how many times the Nine Tails nearly breaks free of the seal.
Tries to take over,
The strongest seal we pretty much know of, too.
Yeah, so, and it's, like, reinforced by, like, Orochimaru and whatever, you know?
Yeah, when it's, like, the four tails, he's like, oh, God.
And a few extra points here, I think, that just really slap the Hiruzen era Orochimaru. You know, Hiruzen, even as an old man, even though, you know, him and Orochimaru might have been holding back against each other and they might have been equals, blah, 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 he's still the strongest of the 5 Kage, but it should be noted that Jiraiya is pretty much implied to be an equal or a rival to Orochimaru, and that 4 Tails version 2 Naruto can handle him no problem.
Yeah.
Or he should be able to, you know, pummel him at full power even.
Well, just before you, because I know what you're about to say, but just because I know some people are going to be like, well, but you guys said Orochimaru could beat Jiraiya. Yeah, sure, but I'm pretty sure in that video we said they're, like, around the same tier. Orochimaru just has the advantage, you know?
Right.
But anyway, the difference between the two of them is not big enough to make up for what Seth is about to say.
Even if you say, well, I think Orochimaru might be able to handle more because maybe Jiraiya underestimated him or blah, blah, blah. He's not fighting the full 9 Tails, my dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's not fighting half of the 9 Tails. And here's Minato blitzing the full thing with its, like, Kakashi-level IQ. But what I wanted to get into the most is Pain would more than likely smack any of the Sani, right? That's, like, the general idea. Like, Pain and Itachi are, like, kind of like these, like, levels above the Sanin or whatever.
If Orochimaru could beat Pain, he would have found a way to get the Rinnegan.
Yep, definitely.
You know? Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like Pain would probably take care of Orochimaru, and then it's implied as well by Minato that Obito that Minato already bodied would smack Pain. Like, Pain is nothing to that Obito, which me and Swag will be talking in more detail on his channel, which I recommend checking out after this. Now, I guess the last one, since we've been going on a huge tangent about, you know, Minato's gigantic golden, you know, member here, but Orochimaru in the 4th Great Ninja War versus Minato. Now, the only real difference here is that these characters, like Hiruzen and Tobirama, they're way, way, way more powerful, but it probably still doesn't matter.
If we give Orochimaru the crazy Kabuto Edo Tensei, then Hashirama and Tobirama can just break free of it, right? Like, that's
possibly
the problem.
Hiruzen as well.
Yeah, so it turned into a 4v1, and Orochimaru's not soloing the 4 Kage. But the thing is, you have to either say, one, Orochimaru cannot use this stronger Edo Tensei, or else the Kage break free. Or you have to say, well, so he can still use Edo Tensei, but it's the weaker one, and we just explain, like, why that doesn't work, right? Like, why Minato would still win. But even if he summons, like, Tobirama, Hashirama, Hiruzen, like, weakened, so, like, even if you give him more summons is what I'm saying, you add Hiruzen in there, and you make them all, like, weakened to the same extent that, like, his Part 1 Edo Tensei weakened them, like, the addition of Hiruzen there doesn't matter. Minato's too fast. Like we said, he could stop the kunais, possibly contract seal them so they won't listen to Orochimaru.
Or just teleport them away. Like,
See ya, bye, you stay here now, I'm gonna go back to the fight.
If we're talking about War Orochimaru, it's also fair to bring up War Edo Minato, who has KCM.
God.
And man, like, I don't want to keep jerking Minato off, but, like, Orochimaru doesn't stand a chance against KCM2 Minato. It's bad.
Here's another thing, too. It's like, okay, Hiruzen as an Edo, the only difference is that he has, like, better stamina, so he's able to, like, use his chakra more efficiently. Minato should be still faster than this guy, And I've seen a lot of stuff about Minato, you know, kind of undershowing in the war, which I recommend watching. Minato is underrated, by the way, because it explains why. But
yeah,
basically, Minato was having PTSD during the war where he wasn't able to go all out. Watch my video if you want to know why, right? But basically, people are like, well, Tobirama's faster than KCM2 Minato because of all these misconceptions, because Minato's not going all out.
Blatantly wrong. Tobirama is much slower.
To prove that as well, Hiruzen performs a feat that's faster than Tobirama to save Naruto, but Minato is supposed to be faster than that guy in base form.
Yeah,
and then you give him
KCM2 or Sage mode, right? Like,
well, this is also supported later. This speed feat is kind of unquantifiable, but you say it out loud. It's kind of crazy. So, Sage of Six Paths Madara and 8th Gate Guy are fighting, right? And, like, in terms of speed, these guys make everyone else currently on the battlefield look like babies.
Yeah.
Except Minato, apparently. Because while both of them are traveling at each other at full speed, Minato warps in there.
He does.
Catches a truth-seeking orb to stop it from hitting Guy, and teleports out before either of them can touch him. That's
you know what's even crazier?
Nuts!
He teleports before the truth-seeking orb can even put a scratch on his jacket.
His reaction
yeah, it's like, it's just there and then gone.
Like,
doesn't do anything.
8th Gate Guy level?
Which, hey, maybe that's consistent going with the godlike unparalleled speed,
yeah.
You know? Just throw that
Crazy.
out there. But no, seriously though, at best, you just say Orochimaru scales to Hiruzen in almost any incarnation after the Minato days. And Minato's much faster. He's way too hacked. Full Ninetales level ceiling, teleportation, does one of the greatest reaction speeds in the whole series.
Minato's one of those, like, weird cases of somebody who's, like, of someone who's introduced with a power or, like, idea in part 1, and that, like, power doesn't get power crept. So, like Itachi's introduced as being, like, really strong.
Yeah.
Because of Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu. But even then, those kind of get power crept, and he has to get, like, the Susanoo to still
give him
stay,
something
like,
else
really
on
strong.
top.
But, like, Minato's teleportation... Yeah, exactly. But then, like, Minato's teleportation has been relevant since it was first
Since it was introduced, yeah.
As a bonus fun fact, did you know that if Obito actually successfully Kamweed away Minato, that the Flying Thunder God is stated to ignore the concept of space and distance.
Whoa.
He could actually teleport out of the Kamweed dimension, even if Obito did catch him.
Wow.
So, that's a little fun fact for you guys. Thank you,
That's
Swag
cool.
Kage, for being on here. Minato
absolutely.
stomps pretty much all the
I love
variations.
talking about how strong Minato is. Nobody respects
me too.
him.
So,
He's class. He's one of my
They either,
faves.
like, don't
I have a
respect him, or they just,
cosplay
like,
of Minato.
jerk him up, but that's pretty much every character for a long time. But yeah. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed, and till next time.
So you're saying you're unhappy that Minato was selected as the 4th Hokage in your place? Yes, is that right, Mr. Orochimaru? Is that what you go by?
Oh my god. You know who would be on Dr. Phil? Like Fugaku and like all those Uchiha dudes. Like, and
So you're saying that there is a systemic conspiracy to wipe out your entire family?
That's absolutely
so they would
boss.
actually be on Dr. Phil. I'm telling you.
Dr. Phil would say that. He'd be like, and so you believe that that the village is out to kill your whole clan? Is that
Bruh.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Oh my god. I like that they threw that in at the end. I like that they're talking now as well. That's nice, because I remember watching their videos where it was like awkward in their excuse me, chats and that. Like, it's nice because I got the feeling they're genuinely friends, so they've obviously had a bit of a falling out and they're fine now, and that's cool. And yeah, so I was right to say that Minato got it. Yeah, I don't feel stupid. Yeah, just in my head I just don't see how Orochimaru could do anything like it. So yeah, that was cool. Thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe already, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys. Next time.